Hey warriors, welcome back. Today, we enter the silent battlefield. The world where true power doesn't shout, it whispers. In this realm, influence doesn't come from words, but from presence. The loudest one in the room might seem in control, but the one who says nothing and still commands obedience, that's the real master. Because psychological control is not about speech. It's about structure. It's about becoming the invisible architect of someone else's mind. Society tells you that to lead, you must speak louder, act bigger, demand attention. But those who truly control the room rarely say much at all. Their silence is not weakness, it's calibration. They observe, absorb, and decide before anyone else even notices the shift. The master of minds doesn't need to prove dominance. They set the environment where others naturally surrender control. Control isn't force. It's architecture. The psychological manipulator doesn't push people. They design the conditions that make obedience feel voluntary. They shape desires, control perceptions, and frame outcomes until everyone believes it was their idea all along. That's the secret art, influencing direction without touching the wheel. The real power lies in observation. Before you speak, study patterns, posture, tone, timing. Learn to see the insecurity behind confidence, the fear behind aggression. Once you understand what people crave, you don't need to convince them. You only need to position yourself as the path to what they already want. That's how psychological dominance is built, not by forcing movement, but by aligning with invisible desire. The mind resists control when it feels certain, but obeys when uncertain. Masters of influence use mystery as leverage. They leave questions unanswered, creating an emotional gap others rush to fill. Silence becomes a mirror where people project their own fears, their own desires, and you, standing still, become whatever they need you to be. That's psychological command, letting others build your power in their own mind. When you master silence, people begin to narrate your story for you. You don't push, you don't persuade, you simply exist with intent, and the world aligns around you. That is the highest form of psychological control, when your absence still dictates behavior, when your silence echoes louder than speech. From this point on, stop reacting, start directing without words. In the economy of minds, attention is the most expensive currency. Whoever controls attention controls direction. But most people waste it giving focus to noise, to distraction, to drama. The true manipulator never chases attention. They redirect it. Like a magician, they make others look where they want, while moving unseen in the background. Psychological control begins when you can decide what people notice and what they forget. Reality isn't what people see, it's what they believe they see. And belief can be engineered. Frame a situation, control the meaning, and you control the reaction. A leader, a manipulator, or an influencer, they all do the same thing. They tell others what their experiences mean. That is how you make people feel gratitude for control or guilt for freedom. Perception is the leash. Belief is the collar. Logic rarely drives human behavior. Emotion does. And those who master emotion can make people destroy logic willingly. You don't win through argument. You win through feeling. Make people associate you with relief from fear, validation for pain, or hope after loss. And you no longer need control, they'll hand it to you. Every great manipulator understands emotions are not weaknesses to exploit. They're switches to rewire behavior. The weak try to prove they're right. The powerful let others speak until they reveal their weakness. Listening is not passive, it's extraction. Every silence you allow pulls information toward you. The one who speaks least learns most. The one who observes longest controls the battlefield, because while they explain themselves, you're already rewriting the rules. The highest form of manipulation isn't fear, it's gratitude. Make people thank you for the very system that traps them, and they'll protect it for you. Give them small wins, small comforts, small validations, enough to make them forget the chain that keeps them loyal. Gratitude disguises control better than any threat ever could. People trust reflections of themselves. Become the mirror they admire, and you can lead them anywhere. The greatest manipulators don't impose, they reflect. They listen, mimic, and mirror until others see themselves in you. And once they believe you understand them, they surrender control willingly. You don't change people's minds. You make them believe you are their own voice. Value is not what something is. It's what people believe it's worth. Control perception, and you redefine value itself. A person's worth, an idea's strength, even your silence, all can appear priceless if framed right. The manipulator doesn't ask for validation. They create the illusion that others must earn their approval. That's how kings are made without crowns, through the quiet currency of perceived importance. Asterisk, when people speak, they're not just communicating, they're searching for reflection. Repeat a fragment of their own words with quiet affirmation, and they'll feel understood. Repeat their emotions, not their logic, and they'll feel connected. This is the echo technique, a psychological tool that binds loyalty through empathy. You're not agreeing with them, you're amplifying their need to be heard. That's the most elegant form of control. Emotional resonance disguised as empathy. Asterisk, the mind clings to patterns. Connect a feeling to your presence, and you become the trigger for that emotion. This is emotional anchoring. Smile when you deliver relief. Stay calm when chaos rises, and soon your presence itself becomes the calm. People won't know why they trust you. They'll just feel safer around you. You become a living anchor in their storm, and that feeling becomes loyalty. Asterisk, doubt is a seed that grows faster than trust. Plant it carefully, and you can redirect belief without confrontation. Make people question their own certainty, not through accusation, but through curiosity. A quiet, "Are you sure?" said at the right time can rewrite entire decisions. Because control isn't forcing belief. It's creating hesitation until your version of truth feels safer than theirs. Asterisk, the greatest manipulators never take away choice. They redefine it. Give two options, both leading to your goal, and the illusion of freedom keeps resistance silent. Control thrives when people believe they've chosen their path. That's the invisible architecture of influence, guiding decisions while disguising control as autonomy. Asterisk, power wrapped in humility disarms suspicion. Reveal small imperfections strategically. A confession, a flaw, a moment of openness, and people drop their guard. Vulnerability becomes your weapon when it's measured. The goal isn't to appear perfect. It's to appear real enough to be trusted. And once trust is built, control no longer looks like control. It looks like care. Social engineering is not a buzzword. It's the quiet trade of turning trust into leverage. Unlike blunt force persuasion, it works with what's already inside people. Habits, assumptions, the default tendency to help. This is not about hacking code. It's about hacking choices. To stay safe, you must first understand how accessible your trust really is. Recognition is the first line of defense. Asterisk, most attempts use emotion first. Urgency, fear, flattery, or sympathy. These are emotional hooks. If someone rushes you to act, asks you to bypass normal steps, or offers praise that feels disproportionate, treat it like an alarm bell. Pause. Ask questions. Real relationships survive a moment of verification. Scams do not. Asterisk, verification is simple, but rarely practiced. Check the sender. Call the person back on a known number. Confirm requests with a second channel. If a message asks you to move money, share credentials, or click an unexpected link, stop. Confirm. That 3-second habit breaks 90% of social engineering attempts. Asterisk, manipulators exploit kindness the way thieves exploit an unlocked door. They craft stories designed to trigger empathy. A stranded parent, a crying colleague, a distraught friend. That's not an argument against helping. It's a reminder to pair compassion with process. Ask for proof, suggest safer ways to help, or redirect the request to an official channel. Asterisk, create rules people must follow to get your help. Make response protocols non-negotiable. I never send passwords over chat. Call my assistant for financial requests. I only accept links from verified domains. Publicize those rules. Enforce them calmly. Guardrails protect you and teach others how to treat you. Asterisk, if you encounter a social engineering attempt, report it. Tell your team, your platform, or the police when necessary. Share what you learned. Your experience trains others. Recovery is about action. Secure accounts, change passwords, and tell trusted contacts. The best defense is a community that learns together. Emotional control is not suppression. It's strategy. The moment someone else can trigger your reaction, they've already hijacked your decision-making. In manipulation, the battle begins in your emotions: fear, anger, excitement, even guilt. Those feelings shorten your logic and make your choices predictable. The powerful stay calm, not because they feel nothing, but because they understand the cost of reacting too fast. Your first skill in psychological defense is not intellect, it's composure. Asterisk, every manipulator begins with a test, a small statement, a subtle question, a gesture that measures your emotional temperature. They want to know what makes you react. Learn to observe your own patterns. Notice what kind of comments make you defensive, what kind of praise makes you open up. Self-awareness isn't soft. It's surveillance on yourself. When you know your triggers, no one can weaponize them against you. Asterisk, control isn't always about what you say. Sometimes it's about what you don't show. The neutral face is a weapon. It prevents manipulators from reading your emotions, buying time to think, and creating uncertainty in those who expect instant reaction. Silence, when intentional, unnerves the unprepared. It signals power, because in a world where everyone overshares emotions, the one who observes quietly becomes the most unpredictable. Asterisk, when someone insults, provokes, or pressures you, they're revealing their playbook. Don't react. Record mentally. Every emotional jab is a data point that tells you what they want, what they fear, and how they expect you to behave. Reframing is how you turn offense into intelligence. Ask yourself, what are they testing? What outcome are they pushing toward? When you start to think like this, manipulation transforms into information. Asterisk, the goal isn't to never feel, it's to recover fast. When you get emotionally hit, ground yourself with 3 steps. Name what you feel. Breathe deeply and change your physical posture. This rewires your nervous system out of fight or flight. The faster you return to neutrality, the faster you regain power. Remember, recovery speed determines resilience. Control is not perfection, it's fast recalibration. Asterisk in every negotiation, argument, or challenge, the calmest mind dominates. People mirror energy. If you remain unshaken, they subconsciously assign you authority. Calmness projects certainty, and certainty magnetizes trust. The real art of emotional control is not coldness. It's quiet confidence that makes others feel safe when you speak, and lost when you're silent. The most powerful people in the world don't control others. They influence outcomes by aligning interests. Real influence feels like cooperation, not coercion. You don't need to manipulate when you can inspire. Build credibility through consistency, reliability, and results. That kind of influence doesn't fade when you leave the room. It compounds over time. The surest way to stay respected is to connect your presence to progress. Every meeting, every project, every relationship, ask, what value do I bring here? When people see outcomes linked to your involvement, your reputation becomes structural. This is influence without words, quiet, measurable, lasting. The strongest leaders don't hoard control, they teach discernment. When you show others how to analyze, verify, and decide independently, you create allies, not followers. Influence shared is influence multiplied. Empowerment builds loyalty that outlasts authority. Manipulation wins quickly. Ethics wins permanently. The legacy of influence is determined not by how many people obeyed you, but how many improved because you existed. Power earned through integrity becomes timeless. That's the architecture of real impact, invisible, stable, self-sustaining. Knowledge without application is noise. Apply what you've learned in your boundaries, communication, and reactions. Influence is a habit built daily. With every calm choice, every honest boundary, every verified decision, you shift from reactive to intentional, from manipulated to magnetic. Say this and mean it. I control my reactions. I protect my peace. I inference with integrity. This is not manipulation. This is mastery. Because when your mind is your own, no one commands you. And that is the highest form of power.